Hey everyone, I hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak in whichever platform you're choosing to play it on. And today we're going to be going over the fact that the developers, after of course the reveal of the digital presentation taking place on next Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. East Coast time, went ahead and shared a little bit of a teaser for one of these Kit T and Pup R little videos. Now, if you don't necessarily know the background of these, essentially they have been doing a little bit of like teasers of information with these two plushies that I believe eventually went up on sale since they were so popular. And essentially they have been revealing details for stuff for quite a long time. Usually nothing substantive, but this time around I think they actually went above and beyond what we would have expected. And that is because they essentially showcased director Suzuki allegedly running out to, go ahead and do a meeting or something along those lines. That is what the little video suggests. You should be seeing that rolling in the background. And he essentially drops some important documents that simply read special investigations. Now, of course, they don't really provide us with any more details as to what could that possibly mean. But of course, a lot of thoughts and ideas have already surfaced regarding what it is that they are teasing regarding the 5th free title update. First and foremost, and I think one of the more prevalent thoughts is that they are finally teasing Apex monsters getting their own anomaly investigation quest. However, they would not be anomaly. That's still something that they wouldn't necessarily end up getting. We haven't seen anything regarding in the mines, for example, that Apex monsters would get anomaly, but they are still part of special investigation quest. They appear as the secondary monster usually, and or the third monster in some rare occasions, but that has been pretty much where they have been stuck. We know the Sinogre and Diablos, Apex Sinogre, Apex Diablos, will be making an appearance through anomaly investigation quests upcoming for this update, but of course that doesn't mean that they were going to be targets for the quest. That potentially could change with special investigations. Again, that is just a thought process that has been suggested by some people, but of course we have no confirmation as of yet. Now, the Japanese post has been full of like people suggesting different ideas. For example, making it so you have two anomaly monsters appear in an anomaly investigation quest. So typically, let's say you're gonna hunt like an anomaly Diablos, for example. Usually the secondary monster, if you're doing like a popular quest, it would be like a Seething Bazelgeuse. Well, this time you could get an anomaly Seething Bazelgeuse as well as the two targeted monsters. This 4 would actually work as a power leveling type of quest for anomaly investigation, since a lot of people have been requesting for an easier way for you to be able to go ahead and grind levels. Having two monsters appear in an anomaly investigation quest, maybe a tough one and an easy one, would go a long way. At the same time, this could also mean that you have a Risen Elder Dragon, let's say Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax as the main target, but also like anomaly investigation, I don't know, Rathalos or something along those lines, So it would be a little bit of a much more challenging quest. That could certainly be one way to go about it. Now, another prevailing thought that I've seen people suggest is that maybe this is going to have something to do with the Volcana. Now, I've spoken about this already. I'm going to have a video on Sunday speaking about pretty much everything that we can expect in the 5th free title update. And Volcana is one of those monsters that we know something is going to happen when it comes to anomaly investigations, but we don't necessarily know what. This monster is going to get anomaly, is going to get risen. We are not necessarily too sure. The minds aren't too clear on that, but something is happening with Volcana, and maybe they are suggesting that as well. Again, that is just another thought. I've seen some people suggest that maybe Violet Mitsutsune and Lucent Nargacuga are finally going to get anomaly investigation, but like I spoke about in my last video when I spoke about the mines, that is not going to be the case. If anything, they actually have been removed altogether, so those monsters will not be appearing in that regard. Now, another set of ideas is like the little images, the little drawings that have been shown in there. You see like the hunter female kind of like hugging one of the spirit birds. The other one is hugging a little bit of a different set of spirit birds. Maybe you are actually going to end up getting powered up with the rainbow spirit bird right out of the gate for the beginning of the quest, because that quest is actually going to have more powerful monsters, so you don't actually have to go spirit bird hunting, and you can actually go ahead and do that on your own. And other people have suggested that, of course, since we expect anomaly investigation levels to go up, maybe these quests are only going to appear after a certain level, maybe 225, 230, if the cap is 250, or maybe even 300, and they're going to have different parameters. Maybe we're thinking hazard, a difficulty, anomaly investigation quest, where some of the monsters have different movesets or something along those lines. Again, these are all theories that I've seen people kind of suggest, because at the end of the day, they just kind of threw this up out of nowhere, and no one really knows what to make of it as of right now. There's a lot of, expectations of what it could potentially be, but at the end of the day, we don't really know. We know that, of course, Risen, Shagaru, Magala, and Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax, will actually end up appearing more in Anomaly Investigation quests. Maybe Risen Elders will now become actual full-on targets for quests in that regard, and get all the treatments that Anomaly Investigation monsters typically do. We don't necessarily know. I personally, like I said at the top of the video, I would hope for Apexes to be the final target, so we can actually get those monsters, properly, quested normally through, at the very least, Anomaly Investigations. Although they wouldn't necessarily drop rewards, but if there's a secondary monster with Anomaly Investigation tied to it, that would be pretty interesting. Can you just imagine Apex Sinogar and then like Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax or Risen Shagaru as a 2-target quest? That thing would be menacing. So certainly looking forward to seeing what they could end up doing with that. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, this is true endgame content. This free title update is just going to be targeting pretty much at the end of the day what the true endgame will be. It's not going to be changing after that. I think, grinding the top tier levels and more hazard quests, which are expected to get one more hazard quest next week when it comes to the last set of 2 quests that we're expecting for the 4th free title update. We expect to get more hazard quests at the very least for all the new monsters that were introduced post-launch as free title update monsters. Maybe even Chaotic Gore Magala, gets, his very own hazard quest. And at the end of the day, these monsters get new moves, new attacks, new sequences, all of the good stuff, and still get their benefits from being leveled up through Anomaly Investigations, and of course become more powerful that way. It would be interesting to see, maybe at the end of the day, Special Investigations just simply means another tier above Hazard Quest, but with Anomaly Investigation monsters, so the pain would be higher. But of course, we are going to get new talismans, we're getting new armor sets, new skills through Curious Crafting and all of those goodness. So we're going to become more powerful as hunters. I know a lot of people have been complaining that maybe the power creep has been a little bit too steep for some players, but of course, at the end of the day, hunters are getting as powerful as monsters. Therefore, it is a little bit fair if we end up getting some really tough end game challenges available to us, as hunters end up getting more and more skills tacked on top of that. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.